What is up, everyone? Welcome back to the Steve of All Trades channel, where today I'm going to show you how to properly pack a backpack. Now, if you are starting backpacking or you're starting long distance travel or anything like that, having the ability to pack a backpack correctly will basically make the difference between you being on balance and off balance while you're hiking trails, while you're hiking mountains, stuff like that. So, the idea that we have to think about is, how am I going to correctly distribute the weight? So, what I always do, this is just a standard internal frame backpack. What I always think of is there's three zones. There's zone A on the bottom. That is going to be your densest, heaviest weight. So that's zone A. Zone B is going to be the first half that is closest to your back, and on the lower half. And then zone C is going to be on the outer half and on the top. And that is going to be the least dense and the lightest weight stuff. So basically, zone A, almost every single time I've ever packed a backpack or been with anybody that's been packing a backpack, it's going to be your sleeping bag. That's going to be your heaviest, densest weight. So I'm just going to take the sleeping bag. I don't have this. You could put it in a stuff sack if you would like, but I typically just stuff it in there because the stuff sack has its own shape, whereas the backpack has a different one. So if you put it straight in your backpack, you have the ability of kind of pushing it down in those little corners and getting it in there a little bit better than you would if you just put it in the stuff sack. So that is the heaviest, densest weight. That's zone A. Now zone B is going to be also very dense material, but multiples of them. So that would be your cook kit. That would be your water filter. That would be your stove. And that would also be your food bag. This is just, makeshift food. So that is going to be, actually, I'm going to put the food bag in the middle. So that's probably more dense with food, depending on the trip that you're taking as well. What I typically do when I am backpacking is I have one food bag. That's the bag that goes up in the tree. When I sleep at night, that's my bear bag. And then during the day while I'm hiking, what I'll do is I'll have a Ziploc bag and I'll take out the food that I want to eat while I'm moving, and I'll put everything in that Ziploc bag or have a designated stuff sack for food, or a pocket for food that I'm going to be eating while I'm traveling that day. That's always super helpful. So now my zone B is full. Zone A is full. Zone B is full. Now what do I put on the outside, the lesser dense stuff? So while I'm packing this backpack, I'm using a tarp as my shelter. If you're using a tent as your shelter, that's going to go in zone B. But depending on the size of your tarp, this is a smaller tarp. It's about 12 foot by 12 foot. This isn't going to be as heavy as a tent would be. So this can go, depending on the size and depending on your shelter, should go in zone B or zone C. Then I have my sleeping pad. Now, I typically will put my sleeping pad outside of my bag, depending on the scenario that I'm in. If it's raining, it goes inside and it goes under my rain cover. So in this scenario, it's raining. I'm gonna put this in here in my backpack. Then basically, you'll just have your odds and ends. So on top of that, I have my rain jacket. I want that towards the top so I can access it easy. On top of that, I also have extra clothing. Obviously, I'd have more than this. I have my pillow. This I don't really need during the day, so I'm gonna stuff this down on the side here because it's not very dense at all, and when it's stuffed down, it doesn't take up a lot of space. Now water, obviously there's designated water pockets. Those are gonna go on either side. Now what you may be thinking is, where do you put your tent essentials? Where do you put your important stuff? So during the day, I'm going to be accessing this pocket likely the most, and I'm going to be accessing this pocket likely the most. Sometimes I'll put my rain jacket out here if I know it's going to rain that day and I want quick access to it. This is just a stretch pocket in the front. A lot of the time what I'll do is I'll put stinky socks out here so it's not stinking up my whole bag, but it also has some airflow so it can dry out. on this top pouch, this is where I'm going to put my first aid kit, quick access, needed quickly. My headlamp, quick access, needed quickly. My knife, actually typically my knife, depending on where I am, most of the time I just take my knife and put it right there. Quick access. My fire kit is going to go up here. Obviously I'll carry more quarters than this, but this is all I have, cordage. That's going up there. And then if I don't need it in the morning, but I'm going to need it later in the day, just some cover. Something to keep my head out of the exposure. Then you get smaller things like, this is just my spork for eating during the day. If I'm going to be eating something for lunch, stopping and cooking, or eating a soup or something like that, that's where I'll put stuff like that. Now, there's going to be some specialty items, and it really depends on the type of backpack that you have. Let me put this down. But on this specific backpack, I have, it's basically, there's a little set of latches down here. I don't know if you guys can see that on the camera. There's a set of latches down here, and then there's also a cinch strap here. And this is actually made for your hiking poles when you're not using them. It's a way to get them up and out of the way. I basically wrap it around here. And now I'm fairly confident that these aren't going to go anywhere. Typically when I'm traveling, when I'm backpacking, I have a rain cover over at all times. So if I have this on top and I'm worried that these might fall out, just make sure they're secure, shake your bag around a couple times. But what I'll likely do is just cover the whole thing in my rain cover. So if these do slip out, they're not going to be hanging out on the trail somewhere and I'm going to be out with a set of hiking poles. So I'm just going to cinch everything down, and basically this will be my backpack with all of my standard materials in it for a camping trip. Now, like I've said in other videos, I typically will take this cup and this water bottle, and I'll just stuff this whole thing in that water bottle pocket. So this is a little bit bigger than most other water bottles, but having that nice big pocket, having something to put both my cup and my water bottle in is fantastic. So that's all one complete package here. And then finally, one thing you might be thinking of is, well, what are these pockets on the front here? These pockets on the front, these are going to be your compass, your map. If you could fit a map in there, sometimes I'll put it, there's a little map pocket up here, I'll put that up there. But if you have a smaller pocket knife and you want to put that in there, a Cliff Bar or a granola bar or something to eat while you're moving on the trail, that's what these pockets are for. They're for ultra quick access, things that you're going to need all the time. If you have a GPS or if you're using a cell phone with all trails on it or something like that, that's where that's going to go. These pockets are, these two and this top pocket are for ultra quick access, things that you're going to be needing all the time. Obviously, these are going to take priority because you could access them while you're moving, and these are going to take lesser priority, so you have to take your backpack off to access them. But I hope this was a helpful video. I hope this gives you a little bit better understanding of how to pack a backpack. And this will, if you pack with this philosophy, this will actually help your camping, and this will help your backpacking be a whole heck of a lot more comfortable. I've seen people pack packs wrong my entire hiking career, and just the sight of discomfort on their eyes at the end of the trip. I know it was preventable, and honestly, if people listen and people pay attention to videos like this, then it's going to make their lives in the wilderness a whole heck of a lot easier. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please be prepared before you go out into the wilderness, and I will see you guys next time.